Okay, they make devices that I don't have or can't afford that can hook up to this, and it'll tell you everything. Okay, it'll tell you the flow of your refrigerant, on where it is, tell you your temperatures, and things like that. All right. This is a coil sensor. So I've had times where I've had to disconnect these because they were giving us trouble. Okay, they were turning units off and kept turning units off. So we just literally, instead of replacing them, we'll just phase them out, disconnect them. All right, 2 wires go to your defrost board. Coil sensor. All right, guys.
Okay.
It's either going to be here or it's going to be connected to this for temperature. Okay. This is your transducer. This is on your suction line. So suction is low pressure. Liquid is high pressure. This is a low pressure transducer, which lets you know how much pressure is moving through here. All right. If it's too high, then it's going to send a signal to my defrost board, which is going to turn my shit off. That's what transducers do. That's a low pressure transducer. This is a metering device, also known as a TXV valve, which turns liquid into vapor, or vapor into liquid. There's my high pressure transducer right here. Right there. It's on my high pressure line. That's it right there, the yellow wires. All right, that regulates the pressure.
How you call the good one?
Huh?
The good one, how you call it?
The good one?
Gold.
Oh, the gold one. This thing? That's my reversing valve.
Oh, reversing.
All right. That's what sends it into a different direction. And this is also controlled by the defrost board. So that's where all those little wires come from on the defrost board. All right.
Pretty much a simple design.
You got a coil sensor, low pressure transducer, which is it regulates your pressure. So if my pressure is too low, it's going to send a signal, or if it's too high, it's going to send a signal, and it's either going to send it into defrost mode, or it's just not going to turn on. And then I have the same thing down here, my high pressure transducer, which is way down here on my high pressure line. Okay.
High pressure is usually a thinner copper.
Yeah, high pressure is going to be thinner. It's also considered liquid. Okay. High pressure will always be considered with liquid. Low pressure, your suction, will always be considered with vapor. And that's all the electrical components in here, other than my junction plug for my compressor, which is here. Goes in right there.
That's bringing in 120 volts.
Yeah. So that's what that is. I need more questions about this, guys. Come on. Talk to me, guys.
So this thing looks really complicated. Just the whole thing. I mean, I know it's capacitor. I know this is the.
Yeah. Once you break it down piece by piece and you understand the functions of each, this is going to complicate things for sure. Okay.
And how to check it and all that. Sorry, I didn't mean to be.
Well, there's ways where you can. You know how you plug that little micro machine into your car and it sends you a code?
Yeah.
They have those for these too.
Okay.
All right. Valencia didn't buy one. I can't afford one. They're hundreds of dollars. But that's where this thing comes in. Okay. I can plug this in when this little light turns red, and it can tell me everything that's wrong with this. This is basically just communicating with my thermostat. Okay. And it's letting me know what's working and what's not working. And it gives power. This is only here because of the reversing valve. If I didn't have a reversing valve, if this wasn't a heat pump, I normally don't have these.
Okay.
Okay.
You're defrosting.
Yeah. So in defrost mode, like in the wintertime up north, this whole thing would be super cold. Okay. That's because it's taking all that cold air from my house and bringing it outside. And my indoor unit is now bringing in hot air. All right. So it's reverse roles. So that defrost will kick on and you'll see like all this warm air come out and it sounds like a bomb about to go off. It's like, it's really cool because you see snow fly up and stuff. That was in Tennessee. Anyways,
That's cool.
that's what it does. That's what it does. It has little sensors, little relays. It goes bad and it pops off and you put a new one back on. It's real simple, real simple. But other than eliminating this, okay, this doesn't exist. This is what a normal unit would look like. Okay, you have your contactor with your thermostat wires, and then you got that jumping over to your contactor. That's all that's to it. All right. This is to help start things, and that's it.
All right.
That's all it's really to it.
You change the expansion valve every time that you do a work.
No, I don't touch that stuff.
You
no.
said how you troubleshooting this one when you take this too? And you check
Okay,
the
so
breaker
that
inside?
was the scenario with a breaker tripping. So when your breaker trips, that means that you have a short somewhere. That means something's not working right.
Okay.
It's either shorting out with the ground, like so if this was happening, something was touching my ground, okay? Down here, if this was nicked and touching that, it would trip, okay? Or maybe this wire came over here and started touching this wire, it would trip. But I could see that. You know, that's easy to see. You'll notice that. It'll smell too. You'll smell like that burnt plastic. You'll see burnt plastic. But let's say that none of that's happening. Nothing's burnt. You can't tell anything. All right. Now my compressor, that pulls a lot of voltage. All right, more than my fan. So that's always going to trip the breaker 9 times out of 10. And like I said, there's 4 of them. So there's 2 connected with him, and there's 2 connected with her. So if the one connecting with him is tripped,
The breakers. Yeah.
I'll leave it off, turn it off, come outside, disconnect the wires that are associated with only the compressor, which is these 2. This helps start it, but that's not, if it's tripped, then I don't even have to worry about that. I just need the 2 that are powered. Disconnect them, go back upstairs, reset my breaker, and if it's good, then I know it's my compressor.
Compressor. Okay.
Okay, and then I can follow these wires back to my box, which is right here. See that junction box? Remove that.
And see
If that's burnt and corroded and rusty,
so the problem is
that's the problem. All right, or the wire's cut right here, maybe. All right, and it's touching the condenser. Maybe that's the problem. But you just trace your wires back, and then that lets you know my compressor's tripping out. Okay, or my compressor's not tripping out. And then just double check your wiring. Okay, maybe these 2 wires were touching.
that makes sense.
All right, maybe this fell down on top of your compact. So sometimes this little strap is located right here. And after years and years of it running, it's gonna come and touch that. And I've had breakers trip because of that. All right, or maybe it came down and started touching your fan wire. All right, that's very easily overlooked right there. Maybe it's touching that. So that's just one way to troubleshoot a breaker resetting. And then at that point, you make up your mind, do I replace the whole unit or the compressor? In this situation, I would convince them to let me replace the whole unit because I can't get in there. I would have to remove this panel
It's very hard to
to get to it. And then I have all this reversing valves and crap in the
This
way.
thing can break really easy too. Yeah.
That's capacitor.
So you got your transducers in there, guys. You got your check valve or your sensor for temperature and pressure. So that's what all these things are. These are your pressure sensors, transducers. These are your temperature sensors, coil sensors, okay? That's all that's to it. Other than that, you have your junction, which we already talked about. All right, this is for your reversing valve. That's all that's to it, guys.
And those
all
pressure
it's gonna be
sensors, they don't go.
And this is a complicated version of HVAC, okay? So if you understand this, a straight cool is very simple because you're not dealing with the reversing valve and the heat pump.
Those pressure